Hello and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawado. On the program today, we speak with the MD, CEO of Fidelity Bank, Nnamdi Okonkwo, on the contributions made by the financial institutions in developing the society. Quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Fidelity Bank is a full-fledged commercial bank with over 5 million customers. It began operations in 1988 as a merchant bank. Then in 1999, it was converted into a commercial bank. It also became a universal bank in 2001. The current enlarged Fidelity Bank is a result of a merger with the former FSB International Bank PLC and Money Bank PLC in 2005. Well, the financial institution takes corporate social responsibility very seriously, and thousands of people have benefited from this. Let's hear more of this from the MD CEO of Fidelity Bank, Nnamdi Okonkwo.
We believe that you should give back to the society where you do business. So for a corporate, you must be socially responsible. I'll give you an example. When you were driving here, you would have seen a lot of trading and stuff along the road. We take time to make sure, for instance, that those drainages are clean and running, etc. So what drives us actually is making sure that the society where you do business feels your impact. From day one, we chose 4 key areas of intervention concerning our corporate social responsibility. One is environment, then social welfare, education, and health. Every other thing we do is grouped into these 4 broad categories. Of course, each one has its own subsets.
How are these projects implemented?
Yeah, we are very deliberate about the implementation. So we have 4 roadmaps for implementation of our programs. The first one is what we call Fidelity Helping Hands Program. This is because it's in our DNA, and when you join Fidelity, before you spend 3 months in the bank, you would have got the bug that here we do well and do good. So our staff, even from induction, are told what we do, and there's no compulsion. So our staff in a particular location identify a worthy project, and then they contribute money voluntarily to execute that project. Whatever they contribute, the bank matches it. That's under the Fidelity Helping Hands program. The next one has to do with youth empowerment. Under youth empowerment program, it's all about, it's actually a subset of our social welfare program. It's all about identifying youth programs that will make our youth realize that they can fend for themselves, or just give them wings to fly. How does that work? Again, we identify such programs or interventions. It could be somebody that is very brilliant. It could be some identified genius somewhere who has come up with an invention. He cannot fund it. We seek out those people and support them to actually become useful to themselves. Thirdly, it's outright sponsorship by the bank, where we evaluate programs and sponsor it wholly as a bank.
Let's begin with something that affects every human on earth, which is health. What has the organization been able to do to bridge the gap in the health sector?
There's hardly any geographical region in Nigeria that Fidelity Bank's health intervention has not made some significant impact. Let me start with Niger State. In Mina General Hospital, we renovated the female and pediatric ward. If you go down to Kano, the Kwali VVF Center was renovated by Fidelity Bank. If you go down to Oka in Anambra State, we did not only renovate Regina Chele Hospital, we furnished it. In Jos, we paid medical bills for indigent patients at Our Lady of Apostle Catholic Hospital. Coming down to South-South, specifically in Edo State, Ofunama community, we had a community outreach for eye surgery for over 100 patients. We conducted cataract eye surgeries there. And then even down here in Lagos, In Bariga specifically, we renovated the sick bay at Ayetoro Primary School. That's how deep we go.
And from the feedback you've gotten, what impact do you think that you have made on these people?
You can't even begin to imagine. You need to see the joy on the faces of these people. In fact, sometimes it brings tears to your eyes. You see people leaping for joy. People that had lost hope of ever seeing again. A simple surgery gives them sight. I mean, imagine being stuck in hospital and a bank appears and just pays your bill. I can go on and on. But if you watch, some will pray from the bottom of their hearts for the institution and its people. The impact is simply, it's not what I can just describe, but it actually encourages us to do more.
And the COVID-19 pandemic has dealt a big blow to every sector that you can think about. What has your organization done in terms of helping the fight against the coronavirus outbreak?
Truly, like as everyone knows, coronavirus just appeared from the blues and changed the way we live our lives. And as a responsible corporate, we had no choice but to join hands with others to fight the pandemic. Of course, you are aware of the central bank-led, private sector and central bank-led COVID intervention. It's no longer news that banks donated, but Fidelity, specifically speaking, we did initially 250 million as COVID team and went ahead to do an additional 300 million across states, different interventions that came up to about 600 million. But it's not even the amount to spend that is the issue. There's also the spontaneity about the expenditure. While we were worried and thinking about COVID, if you remember, there was an explosion in Abuledo, and we have high concentration of customers in trade fair, be it BBA, APT, Aspamda, these people in the midst of the challenges. A lot of them were displaced, some were homeless, some lost their shops, to the point that we had to switch from just COVID intervention to helping them come back to their feet, to even donating truckloads of food items.
What has the organization been able to do in terms of cash or kind to help improve education in Nigeria?
It has come to that point where we realize that government alone cannot do it. Government alone cannot do everything you need to do in the education sector. And that's actually why it's one of the 4 pillars of our intervention. Apart from scholarships that some of our customers have won in our promos, we deliberately look out for educational sector challenges that we can help resolve. It could be, again, renovation of buildings, supply of books. We recently partnered with a group from the US to equip a library in a village in Anambra State.
I know Fidelity Bank is interested in a cleaner environment, and I'm also guessing you have partnered with various organizations to help keep the environment clean. Tell us more about these projects that you have done.
Apart from strong collaboration with Nigerian Conservation Foundation, we're also members of the UN Global Compact, and we maintain parks and gardens across the country. In Maiduguri, in Enugu, in Lagos, in Ibadan, and in Anambra State. If you drive around, you will see parks and gardens that Fidelity solely maintains. And apart from the maintenance, you can tie this into youth empowerment as well, because those people who work there get paid. As part of our sustainability practice, we even take it down to lending. If, for instance, we're lending to a factory and the environmental sustainability principles or practices are not satisfactory, we will not disburse that loan. We have even taken it further. If you walk into any Fidelity bank, if you realize in certain banks, when you withdraw money, you're given polythene bags. But for over 12 to 15 years now, Fidelity Bank has been using biodegradable bags. If you see those paper bags, they are biodegradable. They are specifically made in a manner that is environmentally compliant, so that when you withdraw that money and finish using the paper, it's not like you fling it into some drain and it will not be degradable. So that just tells you how seriously we take environmental practice. And as you know, due to power and electricity challenges, across 250 branches, you can imagine the kind of emission by using generators. So we've been working so hard to change our power source to renewable energy. Most ATMs now, we're using renewable energy to run those, and we'll have model branches where we'll have tried to use solar rather than generators that emit dangerous gases to the atmosphere.
So empowering the youth is not to be left only to government. I mean, organizations like your own should actually focus on youth empowerment. What has your organization done in that regard, and what impact do you think this has had on young people?
I like that question, and because across Nigeria, whenever you hear youth empowerment, people think it's about giving handouts to our youth. They say, oh, there's youth restiveness here. The youth, they don't have jobs. So somebody comes and gives them handouts. That's not empowerment. You have to teach them to do. You have to teach them to begin to earn money by themselves. So Fidelity is not going to go to communities and hand out cash, pittance to our people. So we've created platforms where we train and teach them skills. That's why we use campuses as outreach. And you're talking like 2,000 people. It lasts typically over like a week or more in each location. You teach them makeup, you teach them how to sew, you teach them, it can be carpentry, it can even be how to lay tiles, so that you don't have neighboring country brothers coming here to do those things that our people can do. People leave school empowered that they can stand on their own. That's our idea of youth empowerment. Our team spent 2 weeks in Aba, in the shoe and leather goods market, observing what they do, observing their value chain to understand where the gaps were. And we realized that with little intervention, like buying, you won't believe that some of the equipment they need to make shoes are like 30,000 naira. And so we created a specific fund for that market. We have what we call annual SME funding link-up, where we encourage young people to come and sell their ideas. Last year, we were particularly pleased that some doctor, for instance, won, a medical doctor, but she didn't have money to set up a clinic. What does she do? She has a mobile clinic. They drive to a big market and consult right there, write prescriptions using a mobile van. And in a day, they they consult for hundreds of patients and then refer them. They are young graduates who are technology savvy. So rather than use their knowledge to commit cyber fraud, some of them even have cyber fraud academies they go to. They have names for them. But you see, Fidelity would rather you do not go to all these cyber fraud academies, but you come to Fidelity Digital Lab, where we can use your creative energy for positive activities.
Now, what are your future plans to reach out to more people, and which aspect are you going to pay more attention to?
Well, future plans, everything I've discussed, I inherited. Fidelity Bank is 32 years old. I'm the third CEO of the bank. Starting from the first CEO to the second CEO, and now to me, CSR is in our DNA. When I'm done with my tenure, my successor has already keyed in. My successor already understands our CSR philosophy. In fact, it's a requirement. You must imbibe it, you must buy it and take it to the next level, just like we expect performance to be taken to the next level. As the bank gets bigger, we also believe that our CSR play will get bigger.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.